In the heart of the Orion Belt, on the sparkling planet of Lysara, the intergalactic fashion gala was in full bloom. 100 alien races filled the grand dome of crystal and starlight. Lights shimmered like waterfalls from the sky, and music from 3 different galaxies floated in the air. This was the event where the universe's elite came to see and be seen. And at the center of it all was Scifi, the most famous supermodel in the galaxy. Sari belonged to the Xyrelians, tall, elegant beings with smooth glowing skin and long flowing tendrils that moved gently in the air. Their beauty was unmatched, and Zari was their brightest star. Her face appeared on fashion moons, luxury product satellites, and even perfume. Everywhere she went, cameras followed. But on this special night, something unexpected caught her attention. At the edge of the gala, near the buffet table where alien foods floated in anti-gravity bubbles, stood a very confused-looking human. His name was Ethan Cole, a simple botanist from Earth. He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous. In fact, he had never even left Earth before this trip. Ethan had won a cultural exchange lottery, a program created to allow ordinary humans to visit other worlds and learn. He never expected to be chosen. And now, he was standing in the middle of the most glamorous gathering in the galaxy, wearing a rented suit and holding a glass of purple juice that was vibrating in his hand. He accidentally stepped backward and bumped into a floating sculpture. The sculpture wobbled dangerously, flashing red. Several alien guests gasped, and a hovering camera turned to capture the moment. Ethan panicked and tried to balance it with both hands, but only made it worse. Just as the sculpture began to fall, a long elegant hand caught it. The air shimmered with gentle light as Scifi stepped forward. "Careful, human," she said softly, her glowing eyes looking at him curiously. "This art costs more than a spaceship." Ethan looked up in shock. "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. I was just trying to." She laughed, not a fake polite laugh like most at the gala, but a real, gentle laugh. "It's all right," she said. "You're clearly not from around here." Ethan nodded quickly. "Yeah, Earth. First time off. Honestly, I thought this was a science fair when I arrived. I'm a plant guy. Flowers and soil. Not really good at all. This." Sari tilted her head. For the first time in years, someone wasn't trying to impress her. He wasn't pretending. He was just honest. "Flowers and soil?" she asked. "That's rare. Most people here only care about jewels and status." "Yeah, well, plants don't ask for autographs," he said with a small smile. Something about him made her pause. She had met powerful leaders, rich traders, even famous actors from black hole colonies. But this human was different, simple, real. "Walk with me," she said. The two of them left the crowd and strolled through the garden dome attached to the gala hall. It was filled with rare plants from across the universe, glowing vines from Andromeda, musical mushrooms from Tau Ceti, and flowers that changed color with thought. Ethan's eyes lit up as he looked around. "You've got some incredible species here," he said, kneeling beside a silver-leafed tree. "This one reacts to touch, right?" Zari nodded, surprised. "You know Xyrelian flora, a little. I've studied xenobotany for years. Not much call for it back on Earth, but I always hoped I'd get to see the real thing." They walked slowly, Zari, listening more than speaking. Ethan talked about how plants on Earth could heal, feed, and calm, how he believed that green life connected everything, even across galaxies. He was passionate, kind, and full of wonder. "You don't seem impressed by my fame," she said finally. Ethan blinked. "Oh, I know who you are. I saw your face on the ship's welcome screen. But I guess I see you more like a person than a poster." That made Sari pause. "I'm not sure anyone's ever said that to me before," she admitted. "Even my own people expect me to be perfect all the time." They sat on a bench beneath a glowing moonflower tree. The light was soft, and for a moment, the outside world disappeared. "You ever get tired of it?" Ethan asked. "All the pressure?" "Yes," she said simply. "But I've accepted it. Until now, perhaps." They sat quietly, watching as 2 small pollinators buzzed past. "I like this," she said. "You talk about things that matter." Ethan laughed. "Well, if you ever need help starting a garden, I'm your guy." She smiled, and something gentle moved inside her. She felt calm, safe, something she hadn't felt in years. Later that night, the news across the galaxy buzzed with headlines. "Alien supermodel spotted with unknown human. Who is this earthling? And why is Dasari smiling? New couple alert, or galactic mistake?" Dasari didn't care. She returned to her ship, thinking about Ethan's words, about the way he looked at the plants with care, about how he looked at her not as a star, but as a real being. Somewhere deep in her, An old biological signal flickered. Xyrillian bodies were ancient and full of forgotten pathways. When emotional trust aligned with a certain lunar energy, rare changes could occur. But that was just a legend, wasn't it? As the stars blinked overhead, and her heart glowed softly in her chest, Sari Valera smiled. She didn't know it yet, but her life had just changed forever. The next morning, Ethan Cole woke up on the guest floor of the Intergalactic Exchange Embassy. His mind was still spinning from the night before. He had talked with Sari Valera, not just talked, but laughed, walked, and shared a peaceful evening in a garden dome with the galaxy's most famous alien supermodel. He still couldn't believe it. Was it a dream? But when he checked his galactic tablet, dozens of messages popped up. You're trending across 3 sectors. Is it true you made her laugh? The first human to sit alone with Sari. What's your secret? Ethan blinked. Then he groaned. I didn't ask for this, he muttered, throwing on a fresh shirt. Meanwhile, far above the embassy in a private starcruiser, Sari floated in her garden chamber. She looked peaceful, but inside, she felt something strange. Her heartbeat was slower but warmer. Her skin glowed in softer patterns than usual, and her thoughts kept returning to the human named Ethan. Her personal assistant drone, Kiri, floated over. Your images with the Earthling have received 89 million views in less than 12 hours, Kiri said in its chirpy voice. Would you like me to block the newsfeed? Sari shook her head. No, let it run. They always talk. Kiri hesitated. There's another matter, my lady. The ship's medic has requested a private meeting. It stunk ... unusual. Sari raised one glowing brow. Send her in. A few minutes later, the ship's medical officer, a gentle violet-scaled alien named Dr. Enra, walked into the room. She carried a glowing data orb. I apologize for disturbing you, sorry, Enra said, but I need to speak privately. I've scanned your recent vitals. There's something strange. Go on, Sari said calmly. There was a spike in your neural emotional field, Enra explained. Unusual patterns, but not dangerous. It only happens during strong emotional bonding. But what's truly strange is that your internal systems activated a dormant cycle, a reproductive cycle. Sari blinked slowly, but ... that's impossible. I haven single quotes T ... You haven't merged with any Xyrillian partner, Enra finished. Yes, I know, but according to your body scans, you were carrying a forming life. There was a long silence. Are you telling me ... I'm pregnant? Sari asked, her voice calm but surprised. Enra nodded. Yes, somehow. Your body accepted foreign DNA, not Xyrillian, not any of the usual compatible species. This is new. Sari's eyes narrowed slightly. New. Enra held up the orb and activated the DNA model. The foreign DNA matches one species exactly. Homo sapiens, a human. Back on the ground, Ethan was trying to avoid attention. He ducked through side streets of Lasara's tourist district, keeping his head low. But every time he turned a corner, someone whispered or stared. Look, it's him, the human with the right. Can I get a holopic? Did she really laugh at his jokes? Ethan sighed and hid in a quiet park near the Botanical Museum. Just as he sat under a glowing fruit tree, a message pinged on his wrist communicator. Incoming call. Sari Valera hesitated. Then pressed accept. Sari's calm and elegant face appeared on the screen. But today her expression was serious and curious. Hello, Ethan, she said gently. Hey, ... I hope I didn't cause too much chaos last night. She gave a small smile. You caused something, but not chaos. Her voice grew softer. I need to speak with you in person. It's important. Ethan nodded, heart thumping. Okay, when? Now. Within the hour, a private shuttle picked him up and flew quietly above the city to Sari's ship. He was led into the garden dome where they first talked. But today, it felt different, calmer, more private. Sari stood near a glowing tree, her hands folded. She looked almost nervous. Are you okay? Ethan asked. She nodded. Yes, but I've learned something ... unusual. Ethan stepped closer. What is it? She looked him in the eyes. My people do not reproduce like yours. It takes a deep mental and emotional connection to start the process. Even then, it almost never happens without medical assistance. Ethan looked confused. Okay, Sari took a breath. Ethan, I'm pregnant and the child's DNA ... is half human. Silence. Ethan blinked. Wait, what? The ritual we shared in the garden dome under the lunar energy field was more powerful than we thought. Xyrillian biology can sometimes respond to deep connection during celestial alignment. It's extremely rare, but it happened. Ethan stared, mouth slightly open. So ... you're saying I got you? Zari smiled suddenly, and for the first time, her eyes glowed bright gold. Yes, you got me pregnant, human. The announcement was heard not only by Ethan but by the news drones that had secretly followed the shuttle. Within minutes, the statement was broadcast across the quadrant. Sorry, Valera confirms human pregnancy. Cross-species, miracle, or galactic mistake. You got me pregnant, human, she declares with a smile. The galaxy exploded in reaction. Some cheered. This is proof that humanity belongs in the stars, said Earth's ambassador. Others were shocked. This should be studied. It breaks 20 laws of genetics, cried the Interstellar Science Council, and some were furious. This is dangerous, warned the Gene Purity Coalition, a group that believed species should never mix. It threatens our future. But in the middle of it all, Ethan and Zari sat quietly in her garden. Ethan finally found his voice. Are you okay with this? Zari nodded. I feel peaceful. In a strange way, this child feels ... meant to be. Ethan sat down beside her. I don't know what to say. I'm just a plant guy. I never thought I'd be a father, especially not like this. You're not just a plant guy, Zari said. You're kind, honest. You made me feel human even though I'm not. They looked out at the stars together. I'm staying, Ethan said suddenly. I don't care what the media says. I'll help however I can. This child is part of me. And you, Zari took his hand gently. We'll face this together. A week had passed since the galaxy heard the news. Zari Velari's Aurelian supermodel and icon was carrying a child. Not just any child, but one part human, and the father, a simple Earth botanist named Ethan Cole. For some, it was a miracle, a symbol of peace between species. For others, it was dangerous. Zari and Ethan had stayed on her private starcruiser, orbiting above Lizbara. Inside, the garden dome had become their quiet home, where the sound of glowing leaves and singing pollen gave them peace. But outside, the galaxy was not so peaceful. In the control room of the ship, Kiri, the assistant drone, floated nervously. Lady Zari had said, we are receiving more threats. 4 messages today, all from the same group, Sons of Origin. Ethan frowned. Who are they? Zari's expression turned serious. A radical group. They believe species should never mix. They say hybrids are unnatural. Ethan stood. So they're like alien racists. Exactly, she said. They hide in the shadows, but now they are speaking louder, Kiri added. They've called the child a cosmic mistake. They say it must be stopped. Ethan's face hardened. Over my dead body. Zari reached out and held his hand. You are not alone in this. We will protect our child, no matter what. Later that day, Zari visited the ship's medbay for a health check. Dr. Enra welcomed her kindly. The child is developing quickly, she said, but safely. It seems the human and Zyrelian DNA are working in harmony. This is very rare, a perfect balance. Zari placed a hand on her stomach. It still didn't show much, but she could feel something now, like a soft warmth that moved gently inside her. It feels like a light, she whispered. Enra nodded. A growing light. I've never seen energy levels like this. Your child is not just healthy, it is strong. As she returned to her chambers, Zari saw Ethan in the garden, studying a Zyrelian flower. Its petals were glowing silver and blue. This one's called the memory bloom, he said as she joined him. It only opens for someone it trusts. He touched the stem gently. The petals opened. Zari smiled. Even our plants like you. Ethan chuckled, but his face turned thoughtful. Do you think I'll be a good father? She looked at him with soft eyes. You already are. You're kind, brave, and you care with your whole heart. That's more than most rulers or warriors I've met. He touched her hand. I'll protect both of you, always. Just then, an alarm rang through the garden. Kiri's voice came through the speakers. Emergency alert. An unidentified ship has breached our outer scan zone. Ethan stood. Are they pirates? Zari turned to the sky dome. No, I know who it is. The small black ship appeared near their orbit, without a beacon signal. Its design was rough, old and nothing like the smooth styles of Lasara. This was a warship, built in secret. It bore a symbol, a circle with a red slash through it. The mark of the Sons of Origin. Inside the command room, Zari took control. They've ignored all communication attempts, Kiri reported. Shields up. Now, Zari said. The ship shook slightly as defense shields activated. A blue glow surrounded them. Ethan stepped beside her. Shouldn't we contact the planet authorities? We did, Kiri replied. But they say it's not a planetary matter because we are in orbit. No help is coming. Zari turned to Ethan. Then we stand together. Ethan nodded. I've never been in a space fight before, but I'm ready. She smiled. Just stay beside me. The enemy ship hovered close. A message finally came through. Surrender the hybrid. End this mistake now. Zari's voice was cold and clear. I will never give up my child, and if you come for us, you'll regret it. The enemy ship fired a warning shot. It hit the outer shield and sparked. No damage, but it was a message. Ethan clenched his fists. They're testing us. Yes, Zari said. But we're not weak. While Kiri activated defense drones, Zari moved to the ship's deep chamber. An old Xyrillian energy core passed down through her family. It had powers beyond science, a light that only responded to her. Ethan followed, confused. What is this place? It's a part of me, she said. My ancestors built this to protect life. I've never used it in battle. But now, for our child, I will. She touched the core. A soft glow pulsed, then expanded. Energy spread through the walls. The ship's surface shined brighter than before. The baby inside her glowed gently, too. You are powerful, the core whispered in her mind. Zari stood tall. I will defend this life. Back in the control room, the enemy ship began charging weapons. They're going to attack for real, Kiri warned. Zari gave the order. Activate the pulse wave. The Xyrillian core responded. A wave of light pulsed out from the ship, not to destroy, but to disarm. The enemy ship's power flickered. Systems failed. Their weapons shut down. Ethan stared. He just disabled them. Zari nodded. This was never about fighting. It's about protecting and ending hate with strength, not death. The enemy ship spun in confusion. A moment later, it retreated. That night, peace returned. But the story had already traveled across the stars. Zari uses ancient light to protect her child. Human father stands with her in face of hate. Even the darkness could not stop them. Messages of support began pouring in. From Earth, we are proud of you, Ethan. You represent us all. From Lysara, sorry, you are more than beauty. You are hope. Even the Science Council changed its tone. This child may be a turning point in history. Later, under the stars in their private garden, Ethan and Zari sat together. He looked at her. Do you think we'll face more danger? Probably, she replied. But we've already faced the worst kind, fear. And we didn't run. She smiled and placed his hand gently over her stomach. You feel that? She asked. Ethan paused, then gasped. Is that movement? Yes, our child is alive, growing and strong. He looked at her, eyes soft. Then so are we. They leaned back and looked up at the stars, millions of them glowing above. And somewhere out there, a new story had already begun. Zari stood quietly in the garden dome, watching the soft blue leaves flutter as the artificial breeze passed through. The plants responded to her presence, glowing with warmth, but her mind was far from calm. Her hand rested over her stomach, where her child, half human, half Cyrillian, was growing stronger each day. Life pulsed within her like a song of peace. But outside the ship, there was still division, confusion, and fear. A shadow passed behind her. She turned to find Ethan, holding a small tray with 2 cups of Xyrillian root tea. You've been quiet all morning, he said softly, offering her a cup. Zari smiled faintly. I was listening. Listening to what? To the child. She closed her eyes. They are calm today, like they trust us. Ethan chuckled. Good, because the rest of the galaxy doesn't seem so calm. A new wave of news had spread across the star networks. Science Council to investigate the hybrid pregnancy. Senators from 5 worlds question its legality. Mixed species offspring may cause future conflict, claims expert. There were protests outside embassies. Angry voices argued with peaceful ones. Some wanted answers, others demanded separation. Zari and Ethan had stayed quiet for now, but the galaxy wanted them to speak later that day. They received a secure message from High Ambassador Laren, one of the most powerful leaders of the Intergalactic Council. Her face, aged and wise, appeared on their screen. Zari Valera, Ethan Cole, she began. I request your presence on the Unity platform. It's time the people hear your truth. You are no longer just private citizens. You represent something greater. Zari exchanged a look with Ethan. He nodded slowly. We'll go. The Unity platform was a massive floating station in neutral space. It was where leaders met to prevent wars, sign treaties, and resolve tensions between worlds. Now, it was where a human and an alien supermodel would stand together and speak as they landed on the platform. A wave of security bots surrounded the docking bay. Journalists floated in media drones, recording every move. Thousands watched live across the galaxy. Ethan took a deep breath. Are we ready for this? Zari touched his hand. We were chosen by life itself. That makes us ready. Inside the main hall, curved walls of glass showed the stars beyond. Delegates from 100 species watched silently as Sari and Ethan walked to the center platform. High Ambassador Laren raised her hand. Let the hearing begin. The first to speak was a Xyrilian elder. This union breaks tradition, he said sharply. It risks changing our bloodlines, our identity. Next, a human senator from Mars stood. We don't even know if this child will survive long term. How can we allow something we don't understand? Then a scientist spoke this. Pregnancy could be a genetic accident. It must be observed and possibly ended for safety. Ethan couldn't stay silent. With respect, he said, stepping forward, my child is not an accident. They're not a mistake. They're a gift. Murmurs filled the room. Zari followed him. Her voice was steady. We did not plan this, but life found a way. And when life offers a miracle, you don't run from it, you protect it. The elder Xyrilian frowned. And what if your child brings imbalance to the future? Then we teach them balance, Zari replied. We raise them with kindness, with truth. What kind of future do you fear? One where different species care for each other? High Ambassador Laren raised a hand. Enough debate. The child is real. The union is real. The question is, will we support them? After hours of arguments, the final vote was taken. Support for unity. 57% opposition. 41% abstained. 2%. The decision was made. Ethan and Zari would not be forced apart. Their child would be recognized by the Intergalactic Council. Cheers erupted in parts of the station, but others turned and walked out. Ethan turned to Zari. Is this a win? She nodded slowly. It's a beginning. Back on their ship, the mood was lighter. Kiri hovered with soft chimes playing. You are now official representatives of the Hybrid Harmony Initiative, the drone announced. That includes galactic protection, medical care, and the right to raise your child freely. Ethan leaned against the garden wall. Wow, I was just a simple plant guy last month. Sari laughed gently. Now you're a hero. And soon, a father. As night fell, the stars outside their windows shone brighter. The child inside Sari shifted again gently, peacefully. Ethan rested his ear against her stomach. They kicked. Sari smiled. They're listening, they know they're safe. Suddenly, Kiri beeped again. Emergency message. The drone chirped. Unregistered ship detected fast approach. They are jamming sensors. Ethan stood. Is it them again? Zari's eyes darkened. It might be. Get to the command room. They ran through the corridors. Alarms echoed softly. Zari activated the shields. But something was different this time. This ship wasn't firing weapons. It was broadcasting a signal. We do not come to fight, said a voice. We come ... because we are like you. Zari paused. Open the channel. A hologram appeared showing a young alien woman, holding a small child. Behind her stood others, mixed species couples, families, and children. We hid for years, she said, because we thought we were wrong, but you gave us hope. We are not alone. Ethan's eyes widened. There are more of you. Yes, hybrids, children from two worlds. We survived in silence, but now, maybe, we can live in the light. Zari's heart swelled. You are welcome here. The families arrived on the station. Some were human Ventari, others part Selran, part Clavare. All had been afraid for so long now. They had a place. Ethan looked at Zari. We didn't just protect our child, we opened the door for others. Zari held his hand tightly. The light is growing. That night, as they sat in the garden dome again, looked at the stars. Do you know what I used to dream of? She asked. Ethan shook his head. I wanted to be more than a model, more than a perfect face. I wanted to be real, to matter. Ethan smiled. You've done more than that. You've changed everything. She leaned against him. So have you. Ethan Cole. They sat in silence, the garden glowing softly around them. And far away, in hundreds of homes across the galaxy, others now slept peacefully, no longer afraid to be different. The future had begun. The galaxy had changed. From the icy moons of Veltra to the floating cities of Earth's orbit. Everyone now knew the name of Zari, Valera, and Ethan Cole. Some called them the parents of a new age. Others still whispered their fears. But one thing was clear. The world could not ignore them anymore. On their ship, orbiting between Earth and Lysara, peace had finally settled. Zari's belly had grown round and full, glowing softly with a silver light from within. The child inside her moved often now, full of life and energy. Ethan stood beside her in the garden dome. He was carefully planting small green earth, flowers into the soil of the Xyrilian garden. Behind him, vines of blue crystal leaves sparkled. Zari watched him and smiled. You've made this place feel like home. Ethan wiped his hands and came over. He gently placed his ear on her stomach. Good morning, little one, he said. Today's your birthday, maybe. She laughed softly. You think so? He nodded. I don't know why, but I feel it. Just then, Kiri, their round floating drone, buzzed in with a worried tone. Medbay alert. Vital signs rising. The baby is preparing for birth. Ethan's eyes widened. You were right. Inside the medical chamber, everything was calm but filled with quiet tension. Dr. Enra, the Xyrilian medical expert, ran careful scans while Sari lay back, breathing slowly. Ethan held her hand tightly. Everything looks stable and said, the energy levels are high, but normal. This child is ... strong. Sari looked up at Ethan. I'm ready. Ethan nodded. Me too. We've waited so long for this. Sari smiled. I never imagined I'd share this moment with a human. He grinned. And I never imagined I'd fall in love with an alien supermodel. Kiri floated between them, preparing delivery protocols. Time seemed to slow. Sari closed her eyes, focusing on the rhythm of her breathing. A warm glow spread across her stomach. The lights in the room dimmed, responding to the strong energy from the baby. And then ... the cry of a newborn echoed through the ship. It was soft, sweet, and strange. A sound that wasn't fully human, yet not alien either. It was something new. Dr. Enra gently lifted the baby, wrapped in a glowing cloth. She is healthy, Enra said, with wonder in her voice. She has human features, but Xyrilian skin tone. And look, her eyes. Ethan looked closer. The baby's eyes were golden, just like Sari Espat, with a green ring in the center, like Earth's forests. She's beautiful, he whispered. Sari reached out with trembling hands. The moment the baby touched her skin, a small light glowed between them, a warm energy, soft and loving. She knows me, Sari said, tears in her eyes. She feels everything I feel. The child stopped crying and stared up at her parents, peaceful and quiet. Ethan leaned close. What should we name her? Sari thought for a moment. Let's choose a name from both worlds. He nodded. How about Lyra? It's a constellation on Earth. It means harper, symbol of harmony. Sari smiled. And in Xyrilian, Lyra means lightbringer. Then it's perfect, Ethan said. Welcome, Lyra. The news of Lyra's birth spread quickly. First, human Xyrilian child born in peace. Her name is Lyra, symbol of unity. Galactic leaders sent congratulations to Sari and Ethan. People sent messages from hundreds of planets. Some cried with joy. Others still had doubts, but no one could deny what they saw. A healthy, happy child. A child of two worlds. Leaders from both Earth and Lysara offered Sari and Ethan special titles, ambassadors of harmony. They were invited to speak at peace conferences, scientific forums, and cultural events. But for now, the couple stayed on their ship, taking time to enjoy being a family. Days passed peacefully. Lyra grew faster than expected. Her mind was sharp. At only 2 weeks, she could already focus her eyes and respond to voices. Her laughter was like music. One evening, as Ethan held her in the garden dome, he said, she likes the earth flowers. Sari, leaning against the crystal tree, nodded. She connects with both our worlds. I can feel it. Suddenly, Lyra raised her tiny hand toward a silver flower. The petals opened gently. She activated it, Ethan whispered. Just like you do. She has inherited more than we thought, Sari said. She is more than a child. She is a bridge. But not all watched with kindness. Deep in the shadows of a cold moon, the remaining members of the Sons of Origin gathered. They had failed once, but their hatred remained. We will not stop, one of them hissed. The galaxy must remain pure. Yet their numbers were shrinking. More and more beings supported the path of peace. Some who once feared hybrids were now inspired by Lyra's story. A few even left the Sons of Origin, ashamed of their hate. The light was growing. The darkness could no longer hide forever. 3 months after Lyra's birth, the Intergalactic Council held a unity celebration, the first of its kind. Sari, Ethan, and little Lyra were invited as guests of honor. As they stepped onto the unity platform once more, thousands of beings cheered. Children waved banners that read, Lyra the light, together we grow, different but united. Sari carried Lyra in her arms. Ethan stood proudly beside her. The moment was historic. Ambassador Laren stepped forward. In a time of fear, you brought hope. In a time of silence, you spoke with truth. And now with this child, you have shown us what the future can be. Sari spoke softly, but clearly. Lyra is not a symbol of power. She is a symbol of love. A love that crossed galaxies. A love that changed everything, Ethan added. And love, once planted, grows forever, just like the garden we built together. Cheers rang out. The celebration continued for hours. That night, Dosri looked up at the stars and whispered to her, "Daughter, someday you'll walk among those stars. Not as a human, not as a Zyraelian, but as something new, something beautiful." Lyra cooed softly and reached up toward the night sky. Back in their private garden, Zari and Ethan sat side by side, watching the leaves glow and the flowers. Bloom Lyra slept peacefully between them, wrapped in a soft golden blanket. "I used to think I was just a small part of this universe," Ethan said. "But now, it feels like we're building it." Zari nodded. "We are, one day at a time." He smiled. "So, do we stop here? Or maybe give Lyra a little brother or sister someday?" Zari laughed softly. "Let's take it one miracle at a time." They looked at each other, smiled, and held hands. The stars above shimmered brighter than ever, and in the quiet glow of the garden, a new future had truly begun.